Kicking right. Boom. We're back. Wubba lubba dub dub. I gotta say that again. It was something that came to me at the beginning of that. I was like, dude, I'm bringing Finnegan in. I gotta say wubba lubba dub dub.
And
Yeah,
now I understand the
You
squanch reference at the
understand
beginning as
the
well.
squanch, dude?
my squanch was just in reference to his Wubba Lubba Dub Dub. I had no idea he was bringing in a Rick character. Um, but now I get why you shouted Wubba Lubba Dub Dub. I just listened to the squanch a bunch, and they open it with Wubba Lubba Dub Dub, and usually one of the other guys says something about squanch.
And that's what we
So,
call foreshadowing. It's a classic technique employed by only the cleverest of dungeon masters.
uh-huh. As is
Pretty
modeling
average on it.
NPCs off of beloved TV characters. That's something that, well, I mean, we don't know anything about that
We
here.
don't. We really don't.
Totally not.
We have
I've
quite
actually
all
never
of our
seen any
characters
of
are
so
every single one of our characters are completely original,
Yeah.
not a bastardization of any intellectual
No,
property.
absolutely not. So, yeah.
Don't sue us.
So, yeah, thanks for joining us. The name of the game is Voloheen Winds of War. The name of the episode is Blood Money. And we're going to be wrapping up here the fourth session. We're going to see what the hell happens. Really quick, handing it over to Asa for a short little announcement.
Yep, check out the Twitch page here. I've got our buttons all up there. They're pretty. There's Discord, there's Patreon, there's Twitter, there's YouTube. I am manning pretty much all of these things. Our chat rules are there too. You just don't be a dick. I'll be in the Discord for the next hour after this show is over to talk about the episode and whatever else you want to talk. I'll talk Rick and Morty. I don't care what. We're gonna end this episode in just over an hour. I'll be in that Discord until
Session.
4 o'clock my time. Yeah, session. I'll be in that till 4 o'clock my time. So I'm on Pacific time. You guys set your clocks to see what that'll be for your time. Anywho, with that, I love y'all. Let's get to it. Wubba lubba dub dub.
Wubba lubba dub dub. All right.
Actually,
so,
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm getting over a cold, but I'm feeling pretty good. So wubba lubba dub dub does not apply to me.
oh, okay, fair enough. So, anyways, we're gonna pick it right back up where we left off. The characters were transported. Finnegan had to use a heavily altered version of the spell Instant Summons. And usually the way that works is like you summon an object to you, but he just totally like reversed the polarity on it. And he was like, okay, Instant Summons is going to instantly summon anything in this circle to the other circle that I set up. And yeah, you guys made it back to the hideout. Had a really intense conversation with Emily where she had to vent and she was just very pissed off and she had to yell at you guys a little bit. And you've been planning as far as what you're going to do. Finnegan's clued you into an ISCB warehouse. I guess there are many of these set up around the place so that the ISCB has little pockets of equipment here and there wherever they operate in the continent. And there happens to be one in Twin Harbor. Finnegan has located roughly where it is. Eridu is on a reconnaissance mission to check it out really quick. And
Recon.
and then Hilofax is on his own little mission trying to do some research. Maybe hanging out with Finnegan and talking about what Finnegan's uncovered about them, and they could try and do a little scrying or something. That would be pretty dope. So we're gonna go ahead and go over to Eridu first. You rolled a stealth check and you rolled an investigation check. Are you going to
That I
be
did.
are you going to be doing anything else above and beyond that to either hide your appearance or to aid in the investigation in some way?
Excuse me. I'm pulling a Rick.
You
I
are
think
pulling a Rick.
that Eridu will probably try to wear some kind of cloak or something and just, I mean, he's recognizable in Twin Harbors, especially if you're looking for him.
Mhm.
So he'll wear something to try to hide his form. Definitely not wear his fancy nice clothes because, he's becoming less vain.
Very recognizable.
So yeah, I'll change my outfit, stealth around. I'll be kind of sneaky, try to keep to back alleys, places that aren't easily patrolled by guards. And the investigation is really just to figure out what warehouse is the bureau warehouse, and then I just want to kind of get a get an idea for the external defenses. You know, if they have people there manning a door, anything like that.
Mm-hmm. So essentially, and I can't remember where we established where the Temple of Inezti was, either on the east or the west side. I really
North side.
west side of town.
North, east, side.
Wait, northeast side of the west side? Is that what you're talking about?
No, no, on the
Northeast, west, south.
I'm so confused. So
I know,
it's
I'm not helping.
eastern harbor in the north. It's in
oh,
the
okay, all right,
more affluent area.
for sure. Okay, so then that makes it easier on you, Eridu, because you don't have to cross over at all. You're on the same side
Yeah,
as
right.
the supposed location of this warehouse.
None of those bridge checks happening.
No. But what does happen, so first of all, along the way, you notice that there's just like a couple of different things about Twin Harbor. You're in the more affluent section of the city, so you wouldn't see as many of the effects of the plague of Sapphire Dream on the city. You wouldn't see as much of that in this affluent part. But as you head closer toward the dock, closer toward the shore, like that's where the poor neighborhoods start to pop up, and those were the areas that were the hardest hit by the drug epidemic. And you're noticing that everything seems to have been cleaned up a little more there, and continuing in the trend for a while now, there has been an increase in guard presence and activity and patrols throughout Twin Harbor to the point where it seems like there's a bit of a police state taking hold. And that is definitely what you observe. You are having to do a hell of a job taking different little back alleys and ducking here and ducking there because you're hiding your appearance for sure, but you don't want to get too close to these guards.
Oh yeah.
So your search takes longer than it would have normally because you're having to do so much ducking and weaving throughout the city. But also, like I said, it looks like the place was cleaned up a bit. It doesn't seem like it's in the throes of a drug epidemic anymore. But you get to the shore of the river. You get to that area where there's that long, narrow bridge that's leading toward the structure that's been built in on top of a rock in the middle of this river. And as you walk along that long, narrow path, you get closer. You see the enormous set of double doors that's enclosed. It's just kind of like looks like a huge castle wall, kind of circular castle wall situation, like a tower just built up in the middle of the river. And as you get closer to the huge gates that lead into the structure, you see that it is manned with guards.
Seems like a lot of work going into protecting a simple warehouse. That's Eridu's internal monologue. Sounds a lot like me. It's weird.
So are you going to go all the way up to the gate?
No. I mean, I think I'll just kind of. So is it just accessible by like a bridge leading to a gate, and then like
Yeah.
the rest of it's just.
Yeah.
Is it walled, like, or are they just kind of relying on this little island?
Yeah, I mean,
keep
well,
it
let
up?
me refer back to the map here. I mean, it's kind of
Yes,
hard. It's kind of hard to see, but
Oh,
it's like you got that one big path that leads
Mm.
out to that long little bridge, and then you got that circular thing. The four dark circles are like battlements,
Okay,
So there's people like on top of those battlements, and
So this is
yeah.
some heavy fortification.
it's a heavy fortification for this little area for sure.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should. The gates are manned.
There's two guards from what you can see.
They look like a city watch, or they look like.
Yeah, they look like City Watch. Yeah.
Okay. Then in that case, I'll avoid that. I'll go ahead and just
Head back
take
to
in
the
that
hideout.
information that I can see, and then head back to the hideout. Yeah, that's I don't want to approach those town guards and see if they may be looking for me.
Hmm.
I want to come to Garth when when I'm ready to come to him. You
For
know,
sure.
because he's gonna have things to say to me.
Okay.
All
So
right,
you're heading
we'll
back
take
to
the
the
information back.
you're heading back to the hideout. So while that's happening, Halifax, you're hanging out with Finnegan for the moment. Finnegan, he has excused himself to the little wizard's room, and he comes back and instantly says, "Oh gosh, that was rough." And then he pulls out his little silver clasped thing that has his cigarettes, and he takes out one. Conflagra! Summons a bonfire just like in the middle of the air in the hideout. Just really gives no fucks whatsoever. And it lights a cigarette. And then Emily from the other room screams at Finnegan, "I said no cigarettes in here! No cigarettes!" And he just immediately scowls and he says, "I thought I could pull a fast one on her." Ugh. And he just stomps the cigarette out on the table. And he looks at you, Halifax, and he says, "All right, pretty boy, what you think?" You are muted, I believe, sir. I didn't catch any of that. My bad.
God
I was
damn
I
it.
was I was typing and I didn't even see your mouth was moving.
I'm sorry.
It's all good.
So, before we get started, Finnegan, I just wanted to ask for a bit of clarification. You mentioned earlier that you came from another plane.
God's damn right I did.
Huh.
I
And you came here in search of magic.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Couldn't find the spell on a couple of other planes, so I thought I'd try this one. Honestly, I did not get to my intended destination, but I just kinda ended up here, and it seems like for the moment I'm stuck until I can find whatever I need to find to get out of here. So
Hmm.
while I'm here, I can help y'all out, and y'all can help me out.
Right. Well, yes, let's crack on then. So, we need to establish what it is that the ISCB has in the way of protections for this warehouse. That should be the thrust of our goal.
Uh-huh.
Do we have any ledgers, any documentation? Has any surveillance been done so far?
I took some notes. I was doing a little bit of scrying earlier. You know,
Hmm.
once I found that there was different warehouses around, I was able to check out some different ones. I wasn't able to get a close look at this warehouse in question because they actually had some anti-scrying measures put into place. But I was able to get enough of a reading off of the building itself that I can say with certainty that is the warehouse. But other ones that I saw were not so protected with anti-scrying measures. And
Hmm.
you know what? Instead of telling you, let me just show you. Let me just show you. So he goes over to this. It's a large. It just looks like a large salad bowl or something from the kitchen, and
Hmm.
he's filled it with water. And he takes from his component pouch a small vial of unidentifiable liquid, and he unstoppers it and just pours a couple of drops in there, puts his finger in there and swirls it around a little bit, and it looks like he put food coloring in there or something with the way that the liquid is billowing out into the water, and it soon becomes totally like silvery white. And he
Hmm.
says, "All right, hold your breath, pretty boy." And he grabs the back of your head and just poof, just dunks your head right in the bowl. And it doesn't really give you a chance. Like, he told you to hold your breath, but he didn't really give you a chance to, like, take a breath or whatever. He just does it.
Dude.
Dude.
Like, personal boundary.
Yeah. He has no concept of that. It should be completely obvious by now. So he dunks your head in, and it just seems like your head is this disembodied thing that is floating in the air, and it's zooming in on something, just like heading closer and closer and closer to this scene. First,
Show me what you got.
show me what you got. More Rick and Morty references, please. You're looking at a nondescript brown wooden structure. Looks very solid. Looks actually quite large, but it is plain. There is no identifying marks or any signs or anything on the outside of it to, you're not seeing like ISCB warehouse written on the side. There's like nothing like that. But you get closer and closer and closer, and it looks like your face is just going to smack right into the wall, but instead it passes through. And you get this weird vision of like wood fibers like all up in your eyes or whatever, and then you burst on through to the other side. And you see a huge amount of crates all stacked on each other in this kind of haphazard way. Some of them are only 1 crate tall, some are like 2 crates tall, some are 3 crates tall, but it's just like this huge maze of crates stacked on each other. There's narrow walkways that are going in between the crates, but there's not much of an organization, like there's general like rows going on, but it's not like very clearly defined.
Is it manned by top men?
Maybe I'm not sure. You also see a system of catwalks above all of the crates, and so the highest crates are like 15 feet tall. It's like you got these gradient, like, one crate's 5, 10, then 15, and then the catwalks are like 10 feet higher than the tippy top 15-foot tall thing. So the whole building's like 30 feet tall with all that taken into account, essentially. So it's like, it's a big warehouse, tons of crates in there, and also you see from your angle, you're kind of like zooming around inside the warehouse, and as you go around this big stack of 3 crates, your head just like stops, and you see in front of you this enormous stone. It's like a 10-foot tall, like, looks like it's made of stone. It's like a humanoid figure, It's like almost makes you think of the Warforged, that you just saw, but it doesn't have that kind of like integrated like wood kind of fiber, and it doesn't have like the glowing eyes or whatever, but it just looks like this enormous like stone construct golem thing, and it's just standing completely still, completely inert.
And do I feel like I've got control over my head movement, sort of in this warehouse?
It seems like you don't at first, and then you hear a disembodied voice of Finnegan, and it's got this kind of muffled quality to it, like, your ears are submerged, so it's like he's trying to yell at you through the liquid, so it's got this kind of warbly, muffled quality to it. Right? He says, "Don't freak out now, don't freak out, just focus, look and focus, and you'll do fine. You can do it. You can do it.
All right. I'm not going to try and talk back to him because physically my mouth is in water, so
Yeah.
that's going to be an issue. But okay, I'll try and steel my resolve and keep looking generally around to see if I can turn and see more of this warehouse. But I'm mostly looking for like movement. Is there guards in here? Do I see any erected magical phenomena besides this statue? Like, do I see like orbs set on plinths in the corners or something like that? But then, aside from that, if I've got the time, I'll then focus in on this statue more and see what more I can sort of gather from that.
Sure.
I'd also like to see what else my head can feel. Like, is it purely vision? Or if I try and concentrate, can I gain access to other senses? Like, could I hear something, maybe smell?
I see.
There's a lot of things there, so
That's
we'll
a lot
cut
of things
through.
there. So I got it. There's
Yeah.
no movement from what you can see. There was no one up on the catwalks walking around.
Okay.
Yeah, as you scan around, you don't really see any movement catching your eye. You don't see any orbs on plinths, but you do see, very randomly, you see this one orb that's just like a small white nondescript, looks like a billiard ball if we, I don't know, had billiard balls in the D&D universe or whatever. It looks like a small billiard ball, cue ball, that's just sitting on the ground inconspicuously. You also, when you wrap around to this other side, getting away from the statue for a second, I will allow you to make either... No, let's make it an Arcana check. You can make an Arcana check. Oh, 1! Oh, gosh.
Roll the 1.
Okay, well, nothing pops out at you at this moment. Nothing bad happens to you. I'm not going to make you open your mouth and suck in water or whatever. But...
That is an 8 in total. I get +7 to it, but still.
All right, so nothing else pops out at you. You definitely saw the orb. You saw that there was no movement there. If you focus your senses, you cannot open up hearing or smell at all. It's just sight for now. And then you have the time to go back and look at the statue. And hold on now. Let me look at something really quick.
Okay.
All right. So you see, yeah, it just essentially looks like a huge, like, badass piece of armor. And it's, like, got enormous gauntlets on that are just, like, way larger than they need to be. It just looks like they're there for a bunch of extra weight. It's got huge things around its legs as well, and the feet, instead of like anything like articulated feet, they just look like huge, like metal hooves almost, just like large circular things clamping onto the ground. And like I said, it's inert. It's just standing upright, staring forward with lifeless black eyes. Kind of looks like it's wearing a helmet, but there's like this whole black section that does not show any life at the moment. But it's huge. Like I said, not huge size category wise. The size category is actually large. But yeah, it's like 10 feet tall. And yeah.
Can I tell anything about the construction? Like, does it look does it have like superior molding, forging? Does it look like it was magically constructed or made by hand? Does it look particularly like dwarven or human? Any like design elements I can sort of pick up on?
Yeah. It
Would you like a history check or something?
Yeah, I would do like a history check on that one for sure.
Oh, Now I get decent rolls. That rolled a 19, and I get a +7 on history as well, so that's
For sure,
26.
for sure. So you can tell that this does not have any classic hallmarks of like dwarven craftsmanship or elven craftsmanship or even celestial craftsmanship, for that matter. All these designs and everything, and actually, there's not even a lot of design into it. It's a very functional kind of situation. There's not much art in it at all. Like the gauntlets on it are just like enormous plates fused together. You know, we don't have welding, but it kind of
Hmm.
looks like the plates are welded together on these different seams. You know,
Hmm.
it's a very just simple, functional kind of design, and your assessment is that uh, it had to have been magically crafted because there are certain things like you can't imagine how they put certain parts together like this unless they had some kind of magical assistance.
Hmm.
Like for instance, you can infer that these two plates must have been joined together with intense heat, because it looks like molten metal was pushed together and cooled.
Hmm. Does it look the position that it's currently in? Does it look as though this is being stored here, or that it's perhaps like a guardian,
Um, you
or is it
get
not obvious?
you get the impression that if it were to be stored, it would have something either around it. Like there's no crate in here that's big enough to hold it for sure.
Hmm.
But you figure like it would be in a more like resting state or something. Like it'd be lying down if they were just storing it or whatever. Like it's kind of taken up a lot of space. It's taken up a lot of real estate in the warehouse right now, the way it's set up. So
Hmm.
you get the impression that it's not just being stored in here.
Okay. Right. So in this way, and just for player clarification, this is the warehouse that Eridu's currently scoping out.
No,
No,
Finnegan said that one has
was
intense,
protections on.
yeah, anti-scrying measures there. So you're looking
Hmm.
at a different warehouse somewhere in Irden.
Okay, but he was sort of saying like a warehouse is a warehouse is a warehouse sort of thing.
That's
Um.
your hope.
Yeah. Okay. So there's likely to be some kind of not stone, some metal guardian, an iron golem of some kind. Um, okay. It looks like they're protected, but it's not manned. Is there anything else I want to specifically find? I'd like to know what that orb does, but I don't have any clue. And it may just be an errant piece of junk that's fallen out of a box, or it could be important. I don't know. Um, I think yeah, I'm going to try and pull myself out of the the bowl at this
Hmm.
point.
Okay.
Um, Probably
Yeah,
try like breathing out whatever I had left in my lungs to sort of like bubble it up and push.
for sure. Yeah, you feel this like weird kind of sensation as you're coming back into your body. It's like you're in this weird like different space with your head floating around in this liquid, and then all of a sudden you're becoming more connected to your body, and then Finnegan helps you and pulls you by the hair and pulls you right back, and you go, and he just starts laughing at you. Yeah, I remember my first time. Went a bit worse than that. Yeah, no, don't feel bad at all. You did fine. Did fine, my boy.
Thank you. Oh, oh, it was a curious sensation. Uh,
What'd you see?
I saw a place, not my immediate surroundings. It was um, it was quite disorienting, but the warehouse, I could see it. I could see the outside and then the inside. I saw boxes, a great amount of storage. an upper walkway, a strange orb, a pearl or marble, perhaps a ball. I couldn't identify it.
Hmm.
But there was also what seemed to be a guardian of some kind,
Ah.
made of some metal. A tall being, could easily crush a man.
Hmm.
I'm not sure if this is something that was being stored there, but it looked as though it was not. It wasn't reclining or stacked amongst the boxes. No, this is something that could perhaps be the watchman of the warehouse. If
Ah.
Eridu were to sneak inside this evening before waiting for all of our reconnaissance, he could perhaps be ambushed by one or more of these guardians if there's one in every warehouse.
Ah, that would certainly suck for him, wouldn't it?
It would. I sincerely hope that he has the foresight and the fortitude to pull back, report back with whatever reconnaissance he has, and so we can pool our efforts and resources, and we might help him.
I like the way you think, Halifax. You're thorough, resourceful. You know what? And you're a wizard, goddammit! I knew there was a reason I liked you. You know, we're buddy old pals, really. Chums. Chums, you know?
I'm enchanted. Thank you.
No, you're an enchanter. You got that wrong, my boy. All right, now drink up, drink up. You just had your first scrying. Come on, come on. Just have a little bit.
Oh,
Come on. Exactly.
oh, that is quite some strong substance you have there.
That's the only shit I drink, man. This the strongest shit. Everything else, pah, doesn't even work anymore.
Indeed. Oh, that reminds me. Have I ever told you, Finnegan, of the dwarves that I met while we were aboard the, not the Stalwart, the Intrepid, the other one?
No, what about him?
They were also fans of drink. They had access to a hearty fortified wine, if memory serves. Something that was going to be quite an enjoyable libation. We were going to share it. Alas, the ship was scuppered before I had a chance.
Yeah, I saw
wonder
that.
I do wonder if I recovered the bottle or not. I can't recall. I'm going to go back to the main room and discuss my findings with Emily, see if we can cross-reference it with any of her other allies.
Very well.
I'd also like to check up on Thiala. I do wonder how she's doing. She got rather chewed out by Emily before, and I do feel for her situation. She acted in the best way that she thought, and yes, I want to make sure that Thiala doesn't disappear on us. She's a valuable asset, and I wouldn't see any harm come to her.
Sounds fine. I'll be here trying to see what I can do with this non-detection spell. I swear the improvising I've had to do lately. Ugh.
The life of an adventurer. I'll see you soon, Finnegan.
Yep.
So yeah, I'll sort of stagger a little as the booze takes my senses, and I shall wander to go and find Emily first, and then Thiala.
Okay.
And see if I can find out.
Yeah. So
what's cracking.
So I'm gonna say you're gonna have this quick little conversation with Emily, and then when you're done with that conversation with Emily, when you go to find Thiala, Eridu, you're coming down into the hideout, and you're just gonna like randomly meet up with Thiala at the point where Halifax is here, and that's where you guys meet up. So
Bring us all together. All right.
yeah, but we're gonna do this conversation with Emily first. So she has a cup of tea, and she is off in this other little this little section. You know, there's a corner of the main room that's actually got a fireplace installed, like it's like pretty lit. So there's exactly. She's got the fire going, she's got her cup of tea, and it just looks like she needs her zen little moment right now, and she's having her zen little moment. And she looks over as you approach Halifax and says, "Hi, Halifax. I need to apologize for the way I was acting before. I'm not proud of the things I said, and I hope you all can forgive me, but also understand how much stress I'm under.
Yes, I can certainly understand. It's difficult sometimes to carry the burdens of leadership.
Yes, and I never thought I would have to step up like this. You know, Akram was always so good at this. He was such a natural leader. All the time. It seemed like he didn't even have to try. He just drew people around him, and he always knew the right thing to do. But now he's gone, and I have to try and fill his shoes. And it's been hard. It's been really, really hard.
One's heroes are often difficult to find yourself in the position to emulate them. Even harder is when you do manage to find yourself in that position. Okrim was different to me as he was to you, very obviously. But I always knew that if ever came the opportunity for me to meet the man, or to occupy anything near the amazing tales that he himself occupied, I wouldn't be behaving in the same way as him. It wouldn't be right to do so. People in the same position seldom find themselves able to do the same things, and that is, I find, for the better. You can have two mayors of a town, and it will behave entirely differently under the tutelage of both these men. Your leadership does not need to be Okrim's leadership. While Okrim may have been a more naturally gifted leader, the effort you put in is not commensurate to the result. Leadership came easily to Okrim, but it led him to an untimely end. Your leadership is hard fought, wrought in the flames of active conflict, whereas Okrim's was in peacetime. Do not put yourself down or sell yourself short. You are facing far greater ordeals than Okrim did in his later days.
Thank you, Halifax. I am so hard on myself. I have such high standards, and oftentimes I feel like I'm not doing enough. But I will try to keep my spirits up more.
You've managed to house a great deal of people who all share the same goal. All of them willing to put themselves and their loved ones at risk, all to keep other people safe. That is no small feat. Everything that you have done thus far has its legacy to be left behind already. If you needed time to rest, convalesce, to grieve some more, nothing will be thought less of you for it. And if you find the strength to carry on and continue your position here, well, that also will be greatly appreciated. And just know that we are all here to help you.
I will carry on, Halifax. I don't have any other choice but to do so. And I appreciate all of your help. Even Theala's. She chuckles.
And we shall eternally be in your service.
Thank you. Is there anything else I can help you with?
I merely wanted to update you on the work I'd been doing with Master Odwick. He's an interesting fellow.
The most interesting I've ever met.
I do have a question, though. While he helped introduce me to a scrying spell of some kind, he showed me the inner workings of one of the ISCB's warehouses, where we might find ourselves in possession of some of their ingredients, their tools. I find his methods and demeanor perhaps a little suspect. He appeared on your doorstep when you needed him. He appeared for us on the ship when we needed him. And he seems to possess the capabilities that we are sorely lacking. It seems a little too fortuitous, and I have my suspicions, but I do not wish to cast aspersions on his character. He is yet to be disproven, and I would rather allow someone the benefit of the doubt than otherwise.
Yeah, I I totally understand. I really do. And I had my own doubts, and I still do. I'm still looking at him out of the corner of my eye, really. Uh, he's pretty foul, but he's friendly enough once you spend some time with him. And his methods are very unorthodox, but his goals seem to be very much aligned with ours. And even though he is very powerful, he also is trapped a bit. And he's in somewhat of a precarious situation. Right now, he needs us as much as we need him.
Hmm.
And as far as him meeting you out on the ship, I sent him out there. Like I said, we were both watching everything that was happening, and I knew that you all needed his help. So I told him to get out there as quickly as he possibly could.
Theala greatly upset you earlier, didn't she?
Well, you have to understand, I entrusted both you and Eridu to take care of this situation. The fact that she was brought in meant that there was an unknown variable in the plan, and I didn't know about it until Finnegan helped me see what was happening out there. I saw her throw that fireball. That was an unknown variable, and I'm sorry, I'm getting all worked up again.
It's quite all right. The burdens of leadership, as we were just discussing. I know that you have a great many people to look after, and it's difficult to accept strangers when they suddenly appear out of nowhere. How fortuitous it was that Eridu found Theala just a stone's throw from this very meeting place. How fortuitous it is that she had the skills that we needed at the time. And her methods, perhaps a little unorthodox, match up with her goals, which align with ours. I find that Theala and Finnegan have a great deal in common for both each other and the rest of us.
I see what you're saying entirely. I do, and I do not mean to seem like I'm upset at Theala. It was merely a shock to my system. But now,
An understandable one.
but now that I've put some more thought into it, I do realize that she and the rest of you did what you needed to do in that very moment. I see that now. I just wish that it had been in slightly different circumstances. But what happened happened, and we have to band together and handle the situation as best we can from this point forward.
A wise decision. Now, indeed, I have taken up far too much time of our dear leader. Enjoy your tea.
Thank you.
Our dear leader.
That's her. She's accepting it. She's accepting the title
No.
now that Halifax gave her the pep talk.
I don't believe you catch the reference, good sir.
Is it a sort of North Korea glorious leader thing?
Oh.
Yeah, our dear leader is what they
Oh.
specifically what they call.
Oh. Okay.
I was also unaware.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Drew's and I's reference also went over my head. But I know very little of North Korean politics.
Look, I'll be the best leader of North Korea you've ever seen, man. No, Finnegan will be the best leader of North Korea that they've ever seen.
He is not from here, so it's
Yeah.
very likely he could just pop up. By the
Exactly.
way, I'm a god.
Pretty much. So at that, Emily's drinking her tea, and Halifax goes off into the other room, finds Theala doing something.
Depends on how long until he got there.
It was kind of a lengthy situation with Finnegan. And
Long enough for Eridu to do his scout and
Exactly.
come back as well.
lengthy situation there, lengthy conversation with Emily. But yeah, Eridu's going to show up at
So
the same time.
she would have just straight up immediately gone and meditated to
Uh-huh.
kind kind of generate herself.
For sure.
So if he popped back off, or popped in if it's been after that 4 hours, she would just
Yeah.
be in general, uh, kind of probably reading or something along those lines, like just
Okay.
kind of like learning, kind of whatever, maybe like kind of practicing some kind of like martial arts of some kind.
Okay. All right. So Eridu, you walk down into the hideout and you find Fiala in the middle of doing that.
No, she would. Oh, I apologize. She went and because I never really said it because you guys were doing all the other stuff. She went and found a hotel.
Oh.
So she would have
if-
told someone where she was headed off
Whoever you told that to would tell you that that is not advisable.
to find a hotel.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are kind of like maybe wanted outlaws at the moment.
Okay, then I guess she would be there.
Yeah, it's still not quite sure if they knew we were on the Tranquility or not.
Yeah, there's enough uncertainty there. Like Finnegan definitely told you guys that like I mean, and you guys were able to infer that the Tranquility crew is like persona non grata in Twin Harbor. But as far as like if you guys are included in that, there's enough uncertainty there that Emily will certainly say, make an announcement and say that no one's leaving the hideout right now.
Right? Yeah. That was definitely not relayed.
Well,
Okay, then I guess yeah, she would
is now.
have. I don't know where she would have gone, but she would have gone somewhere in seclusion.
yeah, I mean,
I'm
there's
assuming they're individual rooms.
yeah, the hideout's big enough. You know, it's like essentially got the whole ground floor plan of the Temple of Nezdi just like a level deeper. So there's like
Gotcha.
different rooms and different areas.
I mean,
So
I
then,
almost
yeah.
feel like the Temple of Anesti was founded specifically for this hideout.
It's almost like that was the case or something. Who knows?
Well, she did build the temple. It didn't exist before her,
Uh-huh.
so
Right, exactly.
she could have legitimately done that.
Hell yeah.
Because she did take on that role during that first battle when Akram died. So
Absolutely.
when they were hiding people. So yeah.
Cool. All right, so Eridu, you find Fiala.
Yeah. And Halifax as well. Are we all together now?
Yeah, I'm gonna say like Halifax walks into the room, as like you walk into the room,
Yeah.
but he doesn't say anything quite yet because I don't want to speak for Drew and relay all the information that he got. He
Right.
just seems like he's a little loopy. He actually, oh wait,
Oh,
there he is. There he is. Perfect.
So, yeah,
Yay.
come in and. Well, I've finished an initial scout of the warehouse. It's not going to be easy to get into.
So
Halifax, how are you?
I'm very well. I just seem to have run a marathon.
So this happens.
Yes, I'm well. I've recently had a run-in with Finnegan. He showed me the inside of a warehouse, not the one that we'll be gaining access to. He claims that it's too protected, which means that there are unknown dangers within, and I would beg caution. The rest of my research has fallen for naught. However, within we found evidence of a large metal guardian of some sort. It didn't seem to be part of the other bric-a-brac or stored items. So, if we are to get in here, while we may not experience much in the way of resistance, the resistance may well be powerful.
Yes, the outside is well guarded as well. It's on a small island. It is single gate, manned by city watch. Which I thought was quite odd. If it's to be a private, warehouse. This is going to be. Why would this place have this scrying mechanisms to defend against it and not some other warehouse somewhere else?
Perhaps it is the severity with which the items are being catalogued.
Hmm.
I can entirely understand the need for protecting more precious items, rarer items, with greater magics. The other warehouse may simply be a storage place for more mundane items.
Would it be? I mean, if that other warehouse has the chocks we're looking for, it seems to be a small component for these spells. Wouldn't it be easier to just have him do whatever he did earlier to send us from this place to that place?
Not if it's
No?
not if there's some kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Blocking or countering magic.
Well, there's that, and there's also the somatic components involved, as well as the materials. The shaping of a particular symbol that was required for him to arrive on the ship. If you recall, he did not arrive on the ship entirely. He appeared in the air, falling and teleporting short distances. It's a difference in scale being a difference in kind. While he managed to transport us from the deck of the Tranquility all the way to this Temple of Anesty, albeit in a subterranean section of it, the symbols being identical on either end is a required component.
Yeah.
That symbol not being present within the warehouse would preclude the transportation.
And this is why I tend to stick free of your magics. It's so complicated. Well, so I'm gonna, just to speed things along, give them the general layout that I had seen of the island, and just ask. So how do you think we need to get into this place?
Stealthily.
Yes, but I mean there's only one single entrance, and then the whole thing is surrounded by the sea, and they'd probably see us coming quite a distance off if we swam.
Potentially. My minor experiences with the tales of Okram tell me that on occasion he has had to avail himself of less scrupulous methods. There was once where he needed to obtain a particular item that was on the far side of a room. He created a ruse which caught everyone's attention, which gave him free license to wander over and take it. Should we also produce some sort of ruse, it might attract the attentions of whatever is observing the warehouse or protecting it. Enough for us to sneak inside.
Hmm. This is not a bad idea.
What are your thoughts, Diala? Being part of the special forces, I'd imagine that you'd have several opportunities to get in and out of somewhere unseen.
Hmm. Well, there is a ruse is a lot harder than you would imagine. You don't just you don't just distract someone. You, in fact, draw their attention in usually the most spectacular of ways. Which carries with it a lot of risks, of course, because you put people on high alert. You're better off sneaking your way in than attempting to do any of that, especially if you have any kind of teleportation magics. You're much more likely to succeed if you have that.
There were walkways within the warehouse that I observed. Could it be that there is a roof access way, or perhaps at least an upper level one? Eridu, did you see anything of the sort during your initial scouting?
Nothing that comes to mind, but even if there were, one of the major issues would be that there is no getting to that island without, aside from traversing the main gate or swimming there. It's all on an island. There's no land route, and there's nothing close enough to go from one rooftop to another. Again, 'cause it's secluded on this island. But I wonder, perhaps this is a moment where we could use Zarkon to our advantage to create this distraction. I imagine something of his nature would be quite startling, and the guards would want to try to deal with it quite quickly.
Now that's interesting.
Perhaps there's another way. Another option would be to concentrate on getting inside without alerting suspicion. Things that get inside of these warehouses without alerting or arising suspicion are the items themselves. If we could ascertain what it is that merits the difference between the warehouse that I could see within and the warehouse that we are trying to get into, perhaps there would be a way that we'd be able to manipulate a delivery in some way. Get ourselves inside by hiding within a crate that's supposed to be a particular item.
That might work.
Do we know anyone of the ISCB that we could find this information out from? Any contacts at all?
You know what? Let me sleep on it.
Curious idea. I will not question it. I will also meditate on this, mull over the various things that could be done. There are a great many avenues. All of them have their advantages and disadvantages. I would be made quite uncomfortable if I were to contribute to the making of a decision that turned out to lead us astray. I'd feel quite responsible. We need to be sure that we're making the right decision, whichever one we choose.
Definitely. I might have a contact. Again, I need to sleep on it and really consider these options because it is a complicated situation.
You're telling me.
Hey now, Agner's not around for this.
No, I'm speaking totally as the dungeon master right now.
But if I can reach this person, if this person is even alive, there's a chance that I might be able to get us the information we need.
All right. I'm going to go and find a hearty meal. Theala, care to join?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go find a bed.
Very well.
All right.
Eridu goes off and finds a very comfortable quarters. And this is something that Emily probably would have told you all the way back, when you guys first came into the hideout. She would give you a tour of the facilities. I don't have anything in mind for the actual floor plan. It's just one of those things where if you feel like there needs to be this certain thing, there's probably a good chance that there's going to be that certain thing in the hideout.
Okay.
And one of those things that is definitely there is a nice, secure, very comfortable room for each one of you. So Eridu goes off into his room and he has his nice little meditation rest. And Halifax and Fiala go to the kitchen where, unsurprisingly, they find Finnegan and they find Zarkon as well. And Finnegan is he's at the he's in front of the fireplace that's here. There's like a whole hearth set up, and there's like a big pot of stew on there. And Finnegan's leaning over, and he's digging stuff out of his component pouch, and he's like sniffing it. Oh yeah. Oh, hold up. Oh, wait. Oh yeah, that'll make it spicy. And he sees you all, and he grabs some bowls and some spoons, and he says, "Ah, perfect. Soup's on. Come on. You hungry? This'll put a little pep in your step."
Indeed. I have a great many questions, but I shall distill them down if I can. Finnegan, what you just put in there, is it native to this plane?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, even if it doesn't, I mean, it probably doesn't matter. I mean, come on, they're just chili peppers, chilies. You guys got chilies here, right?
Yes, I suppose we do. Well, whatever it is, I hope that there's a cure for it.
You won't need a cure. I mean, you might feel like you'll need one later, but but no, you won't need one. You won't need one.
Very good.
Yeah.
Then I shall join you in your meal.
Very well. Did I mention that Zarkon was in the room when you guys?
Yes,
I did say that. So Zarkon's sitting at the table. The chair he's sitting in is squeaking and groaning under his immense weight, but it's still.
Is he like spooning soup up to his faceplate and then just tipping it?
Oh no, he's not he's not partaking at all. But
Warforged have mouths.
yeah,
they're cyborgs.
Yeah, but they
Oh,
don't.
okay.
But they
digestive
don't
systems.
need to eat or drink or
They don't
whatever.
have to.
Yeah, they don't have to, but they can.
Yeah.
But Zarkon is not partaking.
When they do, it's like what's that movie with the kid who's a robot? It was like he eats and he gets all like the spinach like stuck up in his robot gears. Oh, what the hell is it called? It was like a Pinocchio retelling, but it's
not,
like
it's not important enough.
No, it's
to
hella
mention.
important. It's
It's
the most
really
important.
not important enough to
it matters
mention.
so much for this right now.
So,
You don't even understand, man.
so
I gotta spend the next like 7 minutes just talking about this movie so we can be done with the movie.
So, anyways, Zarkon is there, sitting at the table, and in front of his place and Finnegan's place at the table, there are several cards, and it looks like there's cards, and there's also some coins on there. Some of the coins look very foreign to you, like Finnegan had brought them from his native plane, and he's just like gambling with Zarkon right now, and he's saying all sorts of like foul stuff to Zarkon, like all sorts of very dirty things, like saying things about Zarkon's mother or whatever. Like, yeah, it's a little profane.
Indeed. You know what? I'm gonna see if I can sit in and join the card game.
All right.
Does it look like it's like a card game that I might know, like a poker or a multi-dragon ante thing?
Oh yeah, it's like
Are you
definitely like
proficient?
yeah, it's like Three Dragon Annie. It's something like Three Dragon Annie.
Huh.
How much money are you throwing down? We're gonna do a quick round of gambling.
I am not proficient, but yeah, you know what? Let's throw some gold in the ring. Excuse me, my hit points has just gone a bit weird when I clicked on the long rest button, so I'm just.
That's all good.
There we go. Right.
All right. How much gold are you
gold.
anteing?
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I've got plenty.
Yeah, we just got the 900 gold.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna go in for a good, clean 50 gold.
Oh man. All right. Finnegan will say like, "Halifax, my boy. Now we're talking." Zarkon over here is too pussyfooted to do anything close to that kind of ante. All right. So the way this is going to work is that everyone antes in 50 gold, and we just do a straight roll. Just roll the d20, and highest takes it.
Ooh,
Yeah.
like actual gambling.
I'm
Actual
abstaining
gambling.
because cards
Totally.
are a peasant's game.
Understandable. Understandable.
It's not so much I would love to play, but cards are.
Oh, okay. So
I got a 10.
you got a 10. Oh man, Finnegan rolled a 15. Zarkon rolled a 20, dude. So Zarkon, who has been very quiet this whole time, you know, Finnegan's been the one doing the trash talking, just like, you know, your mother. I bet your mother was the nastiest drow that ever lived, Zarkon. You know what I'm saying? Blah blah blah. Just saying all this really foul shit, and Zarkon has just kept quiet the whole time. His expressionless face has the ghost of a smile on it, and at the ultimate moment, he just lays down his cards, and it's the three dragon ante equivalent of a royal flush, and he just says, "All that hot air will get you nowhere in life, Finnegan. Aren't you old enough to have figured that out by now?" And Finnegan says, "Hey, I'm only 57, and I feel like a spring chicken. You know what I'm saying? You know what, Zarkon?" And he just looks super pissed, and he pushes all of his gold over. And yeah, you got to cough up 50 gold to Zarkon, Halifax.
Darn.
Finnegan will look at you, Riley, and says, "All right, if you're willing to put up 50 gold, sweet cheeks, how about you put up your spell book?"
My spellbook.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't mind taking a look through that thing, and I'm feeling lucky right now.
I am not foolish enough to gamble with my spellbook. However, I do have a trinket. This here, and I shall remove my ring. This is a magic ring. There are a great many like them throughout the world, but this one in particular allows you to speak to those that might otherwise not be spoken to. Great power in many a kingdom.
Wow.
I offer this as my ante. What about yourself, good sir? What does Finnegan bring to the table?
I got a ring for you. And he shows his hands, and on one of his fingers he has a ring that has a beautifully etched feather going across it. And he doesn't grab that one, but he grabs this other one that's on his pointer finger. And this one is just a very simple, completely jet black band. Almost looks like it was made of obsidian or something, because it's just so dark and it's got that shiny kind of quality to it. It's reflecting light in this very peculiar kind of way. And he takes that off and he says, "I'm not going to tell you nothing about it, but here we go." And all right, you're gambling, baby.
Got a 15.
I rolled like shit. You took it, dude. You took it, dude. Rolled like a 9, dude. Ugh.
Nice.
Yeah, so
I'm
anyways.
imagining because of the time, we probably want to skip to Eridu at this moment.
Sure. I mean, was Eridu... Well, Eridu's sleeping.
Oh, okay.
Everyone's sleeping. So essentially...
Well, Eridu was sleeping for a very, very specific purpose.
Oh. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to pick that up at the beginning of next session if you need time.
Can you give me a cliffhanger?
Yeah, okay.
Give me a good cliffhanger.
So Eridu, not sleeping often, mostly meditating, so not being well practiced at it. He meditates himself into a space of like a dream state, and in that dream state, he finds himself standing in the center of Tilsman. The sky is a burning dark red that he's never seen before. Beyond the clouds, there's a shadow of something huge just moving along the behind the clouds, and each of the buildings that he had recognized from his last few visits seemed to be just torn down, and the ruined remnants of what they once were, and corpses litter the streets. He walks through, seeing a discarded skull, and wondering why this is the space that his dream brought him to. Oh, give me just a second here. I need to look up a thing because I forget names, even of characters that I have thrown into the game.
I mean, there's a lot of characters that have been thrown into the game, dude. It's hard to keep them straight.
Yeah. What is her name?
Are you talking about
lady
Ethel?
Ethel, yeah. He's walking through the streets.
Am I the
and
only
says,
one that remembers Ethel? Come on.
I know,
I'm
right?
sorry.
He says, Ethel, are you in this place? Are you even still alive? And we can end it there if you want.
Ethel, you hear her voice first, and she goes, "Help me. Help me, Eridu." And it seems like her voice is being carried on the wind toward you.
I will turn in whichever direction it seems to be coming from and run.
And we'll end it there.
All right, sounds good.
Eridu running after Ethel.
All right.
All right, sweet. Thank you so much for joining us on this lovely, lovely Tuesday afternoon. We're the Roll for Mischief crew, and we'll be back next week for another session of Blood Money. Next week, it possibly could be the end of this episode. More likely, it's looking like the week after that. There's so much to still wade through here. And,
yes, indeed.
Yeah, it's turned out to be a pretty cool episode.
Bare minimum, the 11th is when we're going to have to end this one. Holiday season coming up, and Christmas falls on a Tuesday, which is a normal streaming day. But of course, we'll give you more details on that as time goes on.
Definitely.
Join me in Discord. I'll be there discussing some things for the next hour or so. And thank you all for watching.
Thank you very much.
Bye, guys.
Catch you later. See you next week.